Yeah, okay, I'm that guy, new background, yada yada yada. Let me start the story. Okay, today, Friday, we had a substitute in our fourth block, which is computing systems, and I don't even know where to begin. So here's the deal. I'm the president, as I said this a bunch of tweets ago. I tweeted about it. We had elections again, and I'm still the president of the class. And that's my mom coughing. And we had the election. I won. I'm still president. And what the president does at the beginning of class is they just pretty much conduct everything, keep everything organized, and we talk about what's going on in the news and what we're going to do that day in class. So I go up to the podium. The substitute, she's standing there. I let her sit there for a while, so like a good 2 minutes after the bell rung, I'm waiting for her to move. And I'm like, okay, this is the part where I was like, okay, I'm sick of waiting. So I'm like, substitute lady, this is the part where I go over and I conduct the meeting, which I'm pretty sure she had done at least 3 times earlier before I got there, because there's other classes that do the same procedure. So she finally gets out of the way, and I'm doing the thing. I do the new business portion, which is where we do what's going on in the news or whatever. And it gets to the part where the vice president, she reads out the objective and what we're going to do that day, and she goes to read what we're going to do that day, and it's outdated because we have a substitute, so we're not going to be able to do what we usually do. So there was a paper which she printed out before she left, and it was on the podium where I stand in front of the class. So I lifted up that paper and began reading what's on the paper. And the substitute had left the room for like a couple minutes, and then she came back. So she comes back and she's like, no, I'll read that. You can just finish what you're doing. So I'm like, alright. So that's when the vice president tells me, I don't have the objective, so I don't know what we're going to do. So then, in order to keep things going swiftly and not pausing, I pick up the paper and I'm like, oh, this is the right paper. So I began reading what the fourth block says, and she's like, no, that's not the piece of paper you're supposed to read from. I'm like, I think it is. It says fourth block, computing systems. We're supposed to read this. Well, the vice president is, but it's because she was over there. I was like, I'll just read it. So I'm reading it, and this lady, and I'm gonna try my best not to use any aggressive language when I explain this. I'm going to leave out the expletives. So I'm explaining on the paper. It says what we're going to do. So I'm reading aloud to the class, and the substitute comes over, and she like goes to reach over to take the paper, and as she's reaching, I'm moving to the side like, what are you doing? I didn't say that because I was, maintaining respect. I'm the president. I'm supposed to lead by example or whatever. So I'm moving to the side, still reading, and she snatches the paper out of my hand. So immediately I go, whoa. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I don't know what just happened. So then I continue reading what else I was doing as far as the new business is concerned. And even though that was supposed to happen before new business, I didn't because she didn't have the paper. So I was like, I'll just read this so we can get this out of the way and do the new business. So we get past that part, and as I'm reading it, she takes a paper, and I look at the class. I look up because I'm reading, and I look up and go, wow, did that just happen? I wasn't upset or anything. I maintained composure once again. And so she snatches the paper and tells me, all right, you're done. And I'm like, but I'm supposed to finish this and make sure everybody knows what we're doing today, and you just took the paper that reads. And she's like, no, this paper is mine. It was on the desk and you took it. I'm like, hold on, that's not how it worked. It was on the podium and I read it. So then she's like, all right, leave the class. I'm like, wow, did this really just happen? I'm saying this to the class, did this really just happen? So then, respectfully, I didn't say a word. I just dropped my papers, concluded the meeting, and I left the room. So I come back because we were watching a video that day because the teacher was out, and this is probably going to be a long vlog, by the way. So the lady from next door, the next class, she hands me the TV. I bring it in. I set it up. After setting it up, the teacher's like, all right, go back outside. I'm like, all right, keep it cool. So after a good 2 minutes, she comes out there and tells me that she felt very disrespected by the way I carried myself She accused me of taking the paper off of the teacher's desk and then going to the podium. I never left the podium. I went to the podium and I stayed there the whole time. So she accuses me twice of going on the teacher's desk. Granted, to say this, in the beginning of the year, the teacher told us never to go to her desk because there's nothing of ours there. I respected that. I've never been to her desk. So the paper is on the podium. She accuses me of stealing it. And then she's going, oh, you're trying to step on my toes. I understand you're the president. I don't want your job. I'm here to make sure everything goes accordingly. And I'm explaining to her, actually, that's also my job. So in order to relieve the stress of you, because usually when we have a substitute, they just leave the paper on the podium. I read it. Things just go. The substitute sits to the side. She decides she wants to try to strong-arm me and say, okay, get away. I'll take care of this. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. So I didn't disrespect her in any way, so we're outside talking. She's accusing me of stealing the paper off the desk, which I never did. Anyway, so after that, she's like, okay, I understand you're the president. This is your job. This is my job. This is my orders from the top guys at the school, the principal or whatever. She's pretty much saying, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what you're going to do, and this is how things are going to work. That's pretty much how that happened. And when she first took the paper, the class was like, oh crap. I don't know if they thought I was going to say something derogatory or mean. I didn't, by the way. I kept it clean, kept it respectful. I'm not going to lie, I had a small smile on my face. And I could have not smiled. She didn't see it, so it didn't really make any difference. But she pretty much kicked me out of the room. Now, I'm the president right now. So I already have a huge ego, by the way, as you may know. And so for her to just kick me out like that, I'm like, oh, this expletive. This expletive. But I didn't say that. I kept it in my mind. People were like, the people that knew me, I have 2 friends in there that I know outside of that class. They're like, whoa, she just did that. There's going to be a problem. But they were surprised when I said nothing. I simply walked out of the room, did what she's asked, and kept the level of respect. Because I understand she's a substitute. She has more power than me regardless of whether I'm the president of the class or not. I just felt like there was some tension throughout the rest of the class. And even when I came in there, I came back and acted like nothing ever happened. And that's pretty much how the rest of the class went. So regardless of who was right and who was wrong, I do understand that she had more power, which is completely okay, completely okay. I was simply reading the paper, and the fact that she snatched it from me, that already made me go, all right, you're going to have to calm yourself down, because that was disrespectful in itself. I understand she's a teacher, but you don't go snatching stuff from people's hands. That's just not right. So I already took that a little aggressively. Inside, of course, I didn't show it, and yeah, I didn't think that was cool at all. So then, after I'm out there, she accuses me of lying, and I didn't find that cool at all. But, of course, being the president, I made my composure. I didn't get aggressive. I kept the language to a minimum. I didn't talk to her unless I absolutely had to. Yeah. Okay, bye.